And the National Archives sent it to me. How did I find this out? I went on Ancestry.com. And they didn't pay me to tell you that. I wish they had. But Sandy, this is the enlistment form. USCT means United States Colored Troops. And the National Archives sent me all of his information. And it was mind-blowing. Because finally I'm getting some answers. Finally, I am starting to be empowered myself. But I didn't know just how much. Because I want to show you these forms. They all left together. They fled in the middle of the night, left Edmund Wills's plantation, 1863. All hell is breaking loose in Haywood County, Tennessee. And they all leave and enlist and put their hand up to fight for their freedom in the Civil War. And here's what I found fascinating. They filled it out. They put their approximate age, because slaves didn't know their true age, right? They didn't keep birth records when they were born. They were considered property. So they guessed their ages. You see here 18, 19. But what I always point out, especially to students, occupation, slave. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I saw that. The audacity of the United States government, of a Lieutenant York to be exact, to look at these men and declare and certify them a slave. And here it is in black and white. It's not my opinion. Occupation slave, occupation slave, occupation, and one was left blank, but you read my book and you'll find out more about that. But here's my hallelujah moment. When I got to my great-great-great-grandpa Sandy, occupation farmer. Somebody said that's right. That makes me do the happy dance every time I see it. Occupation farmer. You know why that's profound to me? Because he stepped up and said, I ain't nobody's slave. They had him from the cradle. They brainwashed him. This is the best you will do. Work for free, no education. We got you. See, when you get someone from here, they're in your control. But he was empowered and knew that he was nobody's slave. Only the Creator could give you that kind of potential, because we know what he saw his whole life. Misery, humiliation, degradation. But yet, on his enlistment form, which he didn't leave me anything, but this is the best thing I have ever received in my life. He left me something greater than money. He left me empowerment. He said, Cheryl, I never believed what they said about me. I never believed all the lies that encircled me. When he had his chance to define himself, he defined himself as a farmer. Why are you telling us this, Miss Wills, in the 21st century? Because some of you in this room undoubtedly have been defined by someone, and you accepted it and you knew that you shouldn't have. Undoubtedly, we are all facing with people who project their thoughts on what they think we are. But my great-great-great-grandfather showed us the way. He said, never let them tell you who you are. Usually the students applaud after that, but I know you're deep in thought. I know you're deep in thought. But this is what I tell students when I go to their schools, because these students in some of the worst neighborhoods in New York City, sometimes they don't even take a chance because they're so afraid of what people will think about them. And it's my pleasure to remind them with 150-year-old proof, do not let them define you. The only opinion that matters is the one that faces you in the mirror. Like I said, I speak in schools constantly, literally 2 or 3 times a week, because to learn something like this and keep it to yourself, come on. I have these children I'm reporting on every single day. Some people ask me, well, how do you feel talking about black boys being killed for the last 20 years? I said, it's eaten me alive. It's eaten me alive. Because that means none of our sons is safe. There's no place to run. There's no place to hide. If they're just targeting if black boys are killing black boys like this, my son could be the next. Your son can be the next. So I'm taking this story and going into schools and reminding them. And let me tell you, when I tell them, and I have been in some of the worst schools. I don't like saying worst when it comes to school, but underperforming. And the attention that you're giving me, they give it to me too. They start out, the most challenging kids all line the back, and they sit with their heads down. And then I start talking about Emma's ex and Sandy's march from that plantation, and I see the heads go up, even in the back. And I challenge them. I literally speak over the ones in the front and to the ones in the back. And I say, I dare you to be average after I told you this story. I dare you to drop out of school. I dare you just to get by, to get out of this school and go and sell drugs. I challenge you to be your best self. There are pitfalls all around you, but you better stop falling for the okie doke. And they look up and they're like, who she thinks she is? And I love when people say who she thinks she is, because I know precisely who I am. I am Emma, and